1,428 miles together. Isn't it weird how you form a relationship with a GPS watch? I mean, this thing has seen me through thick and thin, at my absolute highest and at my lowest, puking on the side of the road. You're a good friend, Garmin. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave from Chase the Summit, and today we're going to talk about the Garmin Fenix 6 again. Back in September of 2019, I posted a couple of review videos that have gotten a ton of views and comments, and I thought it would be worthwhile to update everybody on how I feel about the Garmin Fenix 6 now. I also want to talk about the value of the Garmin Fenix 6 in today's market, given that it's been out for a while now and there's a lot of new devices. Before we get into it, if you find this kind of video helpful, give me a thumbs up down below. I really appreciate it. And consider hitting that subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date with all my future videos. I feel really fortunate that I've got this YouTube channel and I get to test out a lot of new devices from Polar and Coros and Suunto, but I'm still drawn to the Garmin Fenix 6 as my everyday watch. So in between testing all of the other watches I always have the Garmin Fenix 6 on, and I always use it as a baseline of comparison when I'm testing out other watches. I've run 1,428 miles with this watch according to Strava. I've competed in multiple races ranging from 5K up to 100 miler. It's seen crazy weather. It's been ice climbing with me, rock climbing. It's been in the snow. It's been in the rain. It's been ground against the granite rock. So I think I've got enough experience to share my opinion with you. And I think that brings me to my first point, durability. Let me say this is the Garmin Fenix 6 Sapphire, not the Pro model. So it's got the Sapphire lens and the DLC coated bezel. And this thing has held up really well over the past year. It has been on my wrist through trail running and ice climbing and rock climbing and hiking and backpacking and changing diapers and running around with my kids. It's seen a lot of action. And to this day, it still looks almost new. The Sapphire lens is flawless. There's not a single scratch on it. And the bezel is in pretty good shape. There's a couple of microscopic little nicks on it, but nothing major. Let me tell you, it's just peace of mind to have this thing on my wrist and not have to worry about what I'm doing. Another thing that I really like about the Garmin Fenix 6 is the support I've gotten from Garmin so far. They give you firmware update after firmware update that improves stability, makes performance better, gives you a little bit better battery life, gives you more features. They're really good about staying up to date and updating the software in the watch itself. I think even some of the older models like the Garmin Fenix 5 are still getting updates to this day, so I really admire that about Garmin. Credit where credit is due, right? I also wanted to talk about the mapping. I know not everyone cares about the maps in these watches, but that is a huge selling point for me and why it continues to be my daily driver watch. For example, I ran a 100-mile point-to-point race back in October, and that race took place on a trail that had very low traffic and the signage wasn't very good, so there are a lot of missed turns, okay? Fortunately, I had loaded the entire course on the watch and I was able to follow the turns on the watch. The Garmin Fenix 6 told me when the turns were coming, when my next aid station was, how far I was from the finish line. A lot of valuable information, and that's thanks to the navigation and the course building software in Garmin Connect. Really impressive stuff, and Garmin is the class leader in this department. Nobody else is doing it, so they win by default. Another great aspect about the Garmin Fenix 6, or any Garmin for that matter, is Garmin Connect, the ecosystem that we all live in when you use a Garmin watch. They've got a great website, and they've also got a really functional application for your phone. The website allows you to export and import activities. You can check through all your data, go through all your historical data. And the great thing about using Garmin for a long period of time is that you can track all of your metrics all the way back in time and see how your performance has improved or your VO2 max has updated over time. It's cool to see the training pay off with your VO2 max graph and see things go up when you're training harder. It's really motivating. I've also had really good experience with the training tools that are built into the Garmin Fenix 6, like the training status and training load. It's really helpful to understand where you are and if you're overreaching or overtraining. Let's talk about music. I really only used the music on the Garmin Fenix 6 for a couple of months, and after that I kind of stopped doing it. It was just a little too fiddly to get the music on the watch itself. That's gotten better over time, like now that you can use Spotify or Amazon Music to get music on there, but still I find myself just using my phone because I've always got it on me anyways. And the other thing about music is it just cripples your battery life, and for someone like me who might be out on the trail for 5 or 6 hours, it's just unacceptable to sacrifice all of my battery life just to listen to music. Honestly, I'd rather just use my phone. I have the option of using Google Music for music. I can use my earbuds to control the skip tracks or whatever, so having it on the watch isn't that valuable to me. However, I do understand there are people out there there that aren't me that might see a lot of value in this, so your mileage might vary. I'm just giving you my experience so far. In regards to my experience with the accuracy of GPS and heart rate tracking with the Garmin Fenix 6, it's kind of a mixed bag. As far as GPS goes, it's definitely not the best device on the market for tracking purely a GPS track. It tends to wander a little bit, it drifts a lot, but it's something I live with because I like all the other features and I don't care as much to get like perfect mileage in all of my runs. But something that makes it a lot better is using a stride pod. So you can pair the stride pod directly to the Garmin Fenix 6, and that really helps the accuracy with distance. It won't make your GPS track better, but it will make the distance metric a lot more accurate. As far as the size and weight of the Garmin Fenix 6, it's something I'm honestly still not totally used to. This is a really bulky and heavy watch for me, and it's definitely heavier than a lot of the competition. Like even the stuff from Coros, even the watches from Coros, like the Apex Pro, it's just so much lighter, even though they're very similar in size. So I don't love the weight. I can sleep with it wearing it, but some nights I do take it off. And that brings me to my next point, sleep tracking. The sleep tracking on the Garmin Fenix 6, not that great, nothing to write home about, and I think Garmin knows that. They haven't really changed anything about that since they released sleep tracking a couple of years ago. I haven't been overly impressed with the accuracy. Some mornings I'll wake up and I'll have a coffee and I'll be walking around and the Garmin Connect app will show that I'm still sleeping, and then on the other hand, I'll get up in the middle of the night, I'll go to the bathroom or something, and it doesn't pick that up. I still think Polar with the Grit X, the Vantage series, and the new Unite that just came out, review just posted a couple of days ago, I think Polar is doing the best sleep tracking right now, but Garmin still has the advantage in a lot of other departments. So another thing that's not so hot on the Garmin Fenix 6 is the heart rate tracking, the optical wrist-based heart rate tracker. Fun story here. I was basically only using the heart rate wrist-based sensor for like 6 months or so, and then I eventually started using a chest strap, the Polar H9 chest strap. Now, when I switched over to the Polar H9 and continued to run, Garmin started reporting that my VO2 max was increasing and increasing and increasing over time, and it went up from like VO2 max of 55 up to like 58 within a couple of months. And I know my fitness didn't jump that far that quickly, so I attribute all of that change in VO2 max just from the fact that I started wearing the Bluetooth heart rate strap on my chest versus using the onboard heart rate sensor on my wrist. Probably something to do with HRV or heart rate variability and how first beat analytics works with VO2 max. I'm not totally sure on this, but that's my theory. So in terms of battery life, I've got good news. The battery life has actually held up pretty well on the Garmin Fenix 6. Like I said, I ran a 100-mile race back in October and I finished in 26 hours. At the finish line, I had almost 30% left on the Garmin Fenix 6, and that was while using navigation and having the wrist-based sensor enabled. I did not have Bluetooth turned on. I think that saved a little bit of battery life, but I was using the watch a lot and it still lasted the entire race without a charge. Even to this day, the battery life hasn't degraded too much. That can happen with lithium ions, especially a small one like this that gets continually charged, every few days. For me, I can get like 10 days of regular smartwatch use out of the Garmin Fenix 6 on a single charge even today, so it hasn't degraded too much. And when I go out on activity, I think I'd be comfortable wearing this watch for anything under 30 hours. Let's talk about the value of the Garmin Fenix 6 now in July of 2020. Is it still worth buying? Short answer is yes. The long answer is there's a lot out there on the market right now, so I would look at exactly what you need. Are you a trail runner? Are you a road runner? Are you a cyclist? For me, the Garmin Fenix 6 ticks a lot of boxes. Like I said, the mapping is really important to me, but if you don't care about it, there are other options out there. To name a few, we've got the Polar Grit X that's out there, the Coros Apex Pro, the brand new Polar Unite that just came out. I've got reviews for all of these watches on my channel if you want to go check them out. It depends on what you do, okay? The Garmin Fenix 6 is still a very expensive watch. This one, the Sapphire model, at today's price on Amazon is $764. It's a lot of money. I think when it released, it was $850, so it's come down a little bit. You can find them on sale occasionally. So it's clear that the Garmin Fenix 6 is a real, high-end premium device, but you do get what you pay for. This is a really well-built watch, and it's treated me really well over time. I never have to worry about if my data is going to save or if the thing's going to shut down or there's going to be some sort of glitch. Everything's just really well polished. I know there are anomalies. I know there's people out there who have issues with their watches, but for me, I haven't had anything go wrong with the Garmin Fenix 6 so far. And that brings us to the final discussion here. What's next for the Garmin Fenix 6. The Garmin Fenix 6 has been out for about a year now. I was kind of expecting Garmin to release like a 955 or maybe a Fenix 7 this year, but we haven't seen anything from them yet, and I think it's mainly due to the craziness that's going on in the world right now. But be aware that something might be around the corner. I mean, I don't have any insight, they don't even talk to me, so this is just my opinion. Okay, that's all I got for today. I just wanted to share a little update on my experience with the Garmin Fenix 6 so far, and trying to decide if it's still a good option by today's standards in 2020. If you thought this was a helpful video, I'd appreciate you hitting that thumbs up down below and consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss more videos like this in the future. If you've got additional particular questions about the Garmin Fenix 6 that I can answer, make sure you comment down below and ask them, and I'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.